Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me, so let's get into it.
Rengoku. Rengoku had many thoughts in his head about the things that you did and the things that you wanted, but most of the time he kept them silent, because he didn't know how to approach that. However, sometimes you were quite obvious with what you wanted, and it was very adorable. You were being needy, something that really was not what you did or how you were being most of the time, and you thought it was very special, which is why exactly he didn't want to tease you about it. You would grow shy and try to hide whenever you wanted him, which was not really the goal here. He always wanted to spoil you, to make you feel like you were loved and cherished by him, which would always be the case. So that's why, the entire day that you looked at him, and wanted him in more ways than one, he stayed silent, deciding to give you your own time, because you deserve to be able to decide when you're with him and when you're not. You deserve to be able to feel like you can just make the first move and approach him. He wanted to give you that feeling of strength and bravery, so he was not going to take it away from you. Instead, he would wait patiently until you decided you felt comfortable enough. Even though he could end the wait for you, he didn't want to. He wanted to give you time, which was more valuable than anything else. And eventually, as he expected of you, you approached him, and it was the best thing ever. You finally decided that it was worth it. And so, as he was sitting down on the couch, you went over to him, and he smiled at you, tilting his head. "Is everything alright, Mayan?" he asked, and you blushed. You felt a little bit ashamed. You didn't want to be so bold in your desires, and yet you couldn't help yourself. "Yes, everything's fine. I'm just a little bit, nervous. Could we perhaps cuddle, maybe?" You say, and you can sense your hesitation. You could almost feel it in the air, and you thought it was funny, just how hesitant you were being, because you would never deny any of your requests. You had his heart in your hands, and you were unaware of just how powerful you were. "Of course, darling. Come on. Why would I ever deny you that?" he said, and you blushed brightly, letting out a soft laugh, as he wrapped his arms around you and pulled you into his lap. And it was truly the best feeling in the world, to be in Rengoku's arms, as he just held you close. You had no idea how gentle he could be at times. For most people, he was loud, sometimes truly inconsiderate, but he knew from the way he treated you and loved you that he just loved you so much, and would show it at every given opportunity. It is not something you ever had to ask for him to show, because he was always willing to do that, to love you earnestly. But sometimes, he wanted to give you your own time, to be needy and clingy as you wanted, and to feel brave and sure that you could ask anything of him, and that he will always oblige. Muichiro did not know that maybe sometimes he could not read you at all. He could tell that you were staring at him for some indescribable reason that he couldn't quite figure out, and he wondered, had he done something wrong? That was the only thought that occurred to him at that given time. But as time went on and the day kept on passing, he thought that if he did something wrong, at least he would have liked to know what it was, which is why he approached you and decided that maybe talking to you would be the better option here. He didn't want to avoid it. If something wrong happened, then you better tell him and he will make it up for you. That's why he thought you were staring. As for actually knowing why, well, he didn't know anything, he could only assume, and his assumption was not really the best one out there. It was quite wrong, to be fair, and he was doing his best, so don't really blame him. He's trying. And when he actually went to tell you, you just looked at him. You didn't know whether to laugh or feel a little bit ashamed that your staring was noticed, but you just shook your head and decided to be honest. You didn't want to worry him further. No, Michiro, he did nothing wrong. It's just that I wanted you to... I want to cuddle with you. That's all. Cuddle. I see then. If that is what you want, then why don't you tell me? I can always cuddle with you, Ayan. Did I ever tell you didn't want to? Oh, no, he never did. I just felt a little bit embarrassed. He didn't want to ask for something like that. Please don't be worried about this. You don't need to feel embarrassed at all. I don't need to? Are you sure about that? I'm quite certain. Please, you can be honest with me. He says softly, and opens his arms for you, and you can't help but blush on your face, or the way that you just can't help but smile softly as you went into his arms, and he just cuddled you close, closing his eyes, and humming softly. It wasn't something he did often, but something he did right now, and you felt as though you had to just be blessed to be with someone like him, someone who was always ready to show you love and understand you. The fact that he noticed you've been staring all along and didn't say a word just because he wasn't sure and thought that he was on the wrong in the first place. It was adorable how he could be at times, and how much he cared about you, how much you occupied his mind. It was a bit startling too, but something nice, something you would always treasure. Your love was always special to him, and it is special to you too. And so as the two of you stayed in each other's arms, and he appreciated you and your presence, you felt your fear of being needy and clingy with him disappear. You didn't need to fear that. He loved you, and there was no shame in loving him back, and feeling a little bit needy at times, especially when Witcher here did not seem to mind it at all.